It's Stop Bets. Checking back in. We got our Week 8 first look video coming at you. And if you do play DFS, you got to know it's a week-to-week grind. And weeks 1 through 7 have not been kind to us. However, we march on. We keep our same bankroll allocated, and we continue to move forward. So I'm excited to see what Week 8 has in store. A couple of guys I think are a little bit underpriced for their matchup, so we'll look to exploit there. Before we get going, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and leave a comment below on how you guys did last week, and if you guys have been enjoying the content that I'm throwing at you. As always, join the free Discord channel, and then every Sunday we have our live on the dot stream on Twitch at 10:30 in the morning. Go check out our guys at Occupy Fantasy. They got the NBA optimizer up, NHL. They have the showdown for the World Series. They, of course, have the NFL optimizer, one of the best in the game, if not the best. Go check them out in the link below. Go ahead and sign up with them. So without further ado, let's go. All right, so we will break down the quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and tight end position today in this video. Basically, look at it and see who we think rates well against the price compared to the matchup. And then Friday-ish, I'll put another video up there with my top plays and stacks for the week. Those are the official plays. So I might say somebody in this video that I end up not going with on the Friday video. So always check out that Friday video to make sure you guys have the top plays and stacks that I'm rolling with, that we will cash this week with. I feel pretty confident looking at some of these matchups that we can definitely fire up the leaderboard for sure this week. First one that I'm looking at is Ryan Tannehill. He is in a great, phenomenal matchup against the Indianapolis Colts in the Dome. The one way you beat the Colts is through the air, and I believe that's going to be Tannehill's week. He's been okay. He really hasn't had to be spectacular this year because Derrick Henry's been amazing. But I still think he's going to. I think he's going to get better throughout the weeks as teams load up the box and try to stop the run. This is basically on the matchup itself. You saw the Ravens; they could not run against this Colts defense, and you saw last week in the tsunami, the 49ers could not as well. So the only way you can beat the Colts defensively, throw the ball in the air. I love A.J. Brown this week again, and I like me some Julio. You always have Henry involved. He just, however, is just too dang expensive. So I like Tannehill at his price point. Then I'll talk about his counterpart in that game, Carson Wentz, who has been playing significantly better than the way he started the year. Just getting a little bit more accustomed to the offense, I think. Also healthy, a lot more healthier with I think it was an ankle injury to start the year. But him and Michael Pittman, and then you have Jonathan Taylor coming out of that backfield, catching passes, and then controlling the running back share when it comes to running back carries as well. So I think he's number 2 running back in all of fantasy football. So I like the Wentz in this matchup as well. If we scroll down a little bit, it's tough to even garner Sam Darnold. I'm not going to probably play him or Roethlisberger. Nobody down here jumps at me whatsoever. And what a lot of people have been doing is stacking these top 3 guys, Allen, Stafford, and Brady, and putting those stacks in there, extremely expensive stacks, maybe, but it's just been like a Stafford to a cup. So Stafford against Houston, probably a double-digit spread. I haven't looked at any spreads yet for Week 8. I'm just assuming this is a double-digit spread. So it's one that we're probably going to lay off of. However, like last week, there was a double-digit spread against the Lions, and they kept it close. So if that is the case, then you can jump up. I don't know why it's not loading, but maybe it'll pop up sooner or later. You could always go to Tom Brady. I think he's in a pretty tough matchup, but I think it's more tough because the Saints are a better run defense than they are pass defense. Last night with Geno Smith, I have no idea why, but they are. So we got Brady pop up, but he's been super efficient. Hasn't had to do much at times, but I do like him, and because this game's going to be close, and depending on if AB or Gronk play, Godwin and Evans will shoot up my rankings. And then in the opposite side, Jameis Winston, I probably won't get to him. I got to see some more data here, but he does look like he's kind of being more timid, more conservative. That's probably more because Sean Payton's making him be. He does take his deep ball shots all the time still, but he has been limited his I would say crazy plays where he could get massive yards or something like that. But you could always go to Hurts. Hurts probably is a good play this week. He is just Mr. Consistent. We say it every stream, 28, 21, 25, 31. 20 to 30 every single week. It's not pretty. He can get it on the ground. He can get it through the air. And now he faces a Lions team that gives up a ton of rushing yards. Plus, there's no Miles Sanders probably this week. You got a lot of Kenneth Gainwell. You got a lot of Boston Scott. I think they could lean on Jalen Hurts a little bit more, especially in the red zone. Fine play, I think, right here. He's probably going to be more in cash games than anything. So let's go to running backs. If you saw last night's Monday Night Football, Alvin Kamara absolutely beasted through the air. 10 receptions on 11 targets. They ended up double teaming him in the second half. It was incredible to watch. Obviously won my fantasy matchup, which helped. I was playing against DK Metcalf, and we got off to a quick start that sucked for me, but ended up working out in my favor. But his price point stays the same at $8,700 because it's Monday Night Football. So probably a good matchup here. Not against the Tampa Bay rush defense, but against the pass defense. Alvin Kamara should see multiple double-digit targets for sure. In regards to Derrick Henry, so he went down $300, so he was $9,200. Now he's $8,900. If you're going to stack that game, you can definitely play him. However, singly putting him in, it's going to be tough, especially in high risk. I'm going to go back to this same guy. Every single stream, he finally has his price adjusted. Finally. I don't know why it took DraftKings so long, but he went up from, he was hovering the low 6,000s. Now he's finally in that 7,000 range where people's ownership might be away from him. I'm sticking with him. He is the main guy. Just Mr. Consistent, really. Him and Jalen Hurts have been awesome to roster this year every single time. Now you just have to question how can you fit him into your lineups with being 7,100. Other weeks it was just like, nope, he's a cheap guy. I'm throwing in there. Not cheap, the mid-price guy that I'm throwing in there. Taylor, like I said, 7,200 is a steal. He should be. I think he should obviously be in that 8,000 range. So he's 7,200. Probably be one of the most popular running back plays of the week. I don't know why his salary went down. His salary went down $500. Doesn't make any sense to me. Mixon against the Jets will be very, very chalky. He is going to get probably 15-plus attempts, barring an injury. I could see him 15 to 20 fantasy points. He'll be very highly owned for me, I think, this week. Robinson against the Seahawks, the 31st ranked rush defense that just got exposed on Monday night. I could definitely see myself going down there at 6,600. Still a little bit more expensive than I want to see, but he is getting more targets in the pass game, so I don't mind him here. Lenny and Henderson are below him, so pretty good options there. Damian Harris, Chuba Hubbard. Damian Harris had that big game against the Jets. Like I said, you've got to target those guys who are those matchups that are just smash matchups. Obviously, it's the Jets. Obviously, it's the Lions, and the Seahawks as well. But So probably the biggest savings is Kenneth Gainwell this week with more than likely no Miles Sanders at $5,000. So not minimum price, but you're going to have to pay up a little bit for him. I still think he's going to be heavily owned going up against this Detroit Lions defense. So those are probably the ones that stick out the most to me. Let me know if I've missed any in the comments that you guys are thinking of this week. Wide receivers. So the field has been playing Cooper Kupp every single week. It's like Devontae Adams 2.0 from last year. So you just plug and play Cooper Kupp, and you put your lineups in, just like Devontae last year. It's just insane usage, absolutely insane. 26, 39, 30. Then he had the 2 games where, man, he only had 11 and 16, and then he goes back to 37 and 40. So he's now priced up to $9,000. Very, very tough not to get to him. If you're playing cash games, he's 100% in your lineups. Has to be. More high risk. Got to take that stance, and I'm probably just going to keep fading him. I hate to say it because he's been so damn good. I just think that you have to fade him in high risk lineups, or game stack, fade or game stack. Diggs is in a great matchup against this Dolphins defense, and he's been picking up steam. Good, 11 targets, 10. Then he had a 5 against KC, which is a fluky game. I think they're up big, so they didn't have to throw it there. Mikey Williams is back on the slate. Love to see that against the Patriots. McLaurin, his price went up after a humongous game in Green Bay. He was $6,900. Great play last week. I had a lot of exposure to him. But now he gets priced up to $7,600. Then Jamar Chase, the rookie of the year? Who knows? I don't know. He's absolutely been dominant, him and Burrow. I could see this being a 3-0 stack or a 2-0 stack that a lot of people keep continuing to play and see that, climb up a leaderboard if you need to. Again, I'm more than likely staying away from this game, maybe bits and pieces, because there's nothing to really run it back with on the Jets side, unfortunately. A couple other ones. So I said I was going to target Mike Evans and Godwin. Godwin's down here still at 6,400. Since he didn't have the big game like Mike, he had a great game, just not the big game like Mike Evans. So you don't have that much of a price increase. Just keep an eye out on Antonio Brown. Number 1 wide receiver still that I think this offense is getting better is Calvin Ridley, 6,600. He just hasn't done anything spectacular, but he hasn't done anything that's been horrible. So I'm going to keep plugging him in. I think Ridley is a good high-risk play this week against this Carolina defense that some people respect. I don't think it's a very good defense whatsoever. Just got blown up in the beginning of the season because they played crappy teams. But then you got Deontay, Allen, Sutton, Denver receivers. I'm not going to probably trust Bridgewater unless I see him be a little bit more healthy this week. But Fant and Sutton are good plays against this terrible football team's defense as well. I'm going to see if there's any value play. Pittman at 5,300, steal, absolute steal. How his price doesn't go up, I don't know. I'll never know this. He should be 6,000 to 6,200, and he's stuck at 5,300. So yeah, plug him in. Great stuff. That's probably gonna be my top stack of the week. Tennessee, Indy. I like that matchup a ton. Emmanuel Sanders down here at 5,400. You can save from Stephon Diggs. Cole Beasley is even cheaper, who had a very, very good game last time they played. 9 targets with a touchdown. He could be implemented a little bit more. Check for TY's availability. And then there was one more that I really, really liked down here. I could not remember who it was. If you're stacking Van Jefferson, you can. St. Brown. Let's see what he did last week. Oh, he didn't even get a target. He's horrible. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look probably a little bit more, do a little bit more research for these very very big value plays. I think Baltimore's on the bye, so Bateman, was the big guy last week that we got on throughout the week. Absolutely killed it. So let's look at tight ends real quick. Kyle Pitts being the number one. So there is no Waller, there is no Kelsey on this slate. So value tight end city for this slate, and pretty much you're going to see Kyle Pitts' ownership go through the roof with that humongous last 2 games, 9 targets, 10 targets, 8 targets. I honestly think he's still underpriced at 6,300. He should be in that 7,000 range. I just don't think if you made that big of a jump, people would go to it. So I think this is fairly priced. However, he's going to be highly owned. Hawkinson against this Eagles defense. Let's see if we can pull him up. He's just been okay. He's gotten a lot of targets. He just hasn't done much, just like this Lions defense or Lions offense all year. Mike Gesicki, been an absolute beast. If you watched any of my pre-draft flyers or whatever, it was Gesicki all day for tight ends. He's big target for Tua. Loves to throw to his tight ends. So good play here. Let's see some value ones. Seals Jones still is not priced up. You can always throw him in there. Komet had a pretty dang good game. 8 to 9 points from a $3,000 tight end is pretty good. Not elite, but pretty good. You can go back to Azuma. I wasn't on him last week. I'm probably going to keep fading him, but it's in a fairly good matchup with the Jets. Hunter Henry up here at 4,200. He scored a touchdown in the last 4 straight games. You can put him back in. He's at 4,200. He's pretty much a touchdown or bust. He rarely ever has more than 4 targets a game. So it's going to be tough. You got to get a touchdown of him to be optimal. You could throw Fertzker in those stacks. Other than that, Troutman was okay on Monday night. Nothing crazy. Mostly, a lot of people are going to be playing Fant, Gesicki, and Pitts this week. Maybe go to Goddard at 4,700 again. So just keep an eye out. Like I said, we are going to be full top plays and stacks on Friday with our YouTube video dropping then. So leave a comment below. Let me know who you guys are targeting this week, who you guys are fading this week, and what you guys are on. So I appreciate you guys tuning in, and you'll see me back on Friday.